Hey, it's Melissa. Welcome to my $100,000 stock experiment, year 3, week 45, ending February 19th, 2021. I'm sharing my trades with you so you can see what I'm doing. I try and follow the CAN-SLIM trading methodology developed by William O'Neill. This isn't an endorsement for any stocks that I've bought. According to the IBD at investors.com, the market is in a confirmed uptrend. The S&P 500 was down 0.7% for the week. It felt like an ugly week in the market, but the S&P 500 doesn't look that bad. It was down every day this week, but held above my support and resistance line that I drew last week at 38.76. And it closed just below the 8-day simple moving average at 3,906.71. I did sell 4 stocks this week: Apps, Desktop Metal, Himax, and Zedge. All of my sells this week were purchased in the last 3 weeks. And even though I made a nice profit on some, this selling of recent purchases kept me from making additional new buys this week. I'm a little annoyed at myself because I would have been better off at the end of the week had none of my stocks triggered a sell. I'm going to keep this in mind when reviewing my sells and see if there's any lessons to be learned. Maybe I moved my floor up too quickly, or an 8% floor might be too tight for some of my stocks. Desktop Metal, stock symbol DM. Desktop Metal fell apart this week and triggered my floor with an 8% gain. Thursday and Friday, it closed at the bottom of the range. 6 of the last 8 days have been down with above average volume. This doesn't look good to me. I held Desktop Metal for just about 2.5 weeks and I exited with an 8.5% gain. Himax Technologies, stock symbol HIMX. Last week, I was so excited about this stocks, but Himax triggered my floor at 8% on Thursday. The low that day was $13.44. A sell that low would have been a 12.3% loss. That's too big for me. So I'm happy with my 8% floor limit on this trade, and I'm just going to take the loss, and I'll think about buying this back. I held it for the 1 week, and I had the 8.1% loss. Digital Turbine, stock symbol APPS. Tuesday morning, Apps looked like it was going to have a tight price action, and I made a B2, but it didn't hold. My floor triggered on Wednesday for the B1 and B2 and continued to fall on Thursday. The low was 76.50, which was just above the 16-day simple moving average that day, which was 76.20. I'm happy with this trade. A lower floor did not make sense to me. I had 2 buys in Apps. My B1 I held for 2.5 weeks, and I had a 36.4% gain, and my B2 I held for 2 days and had a 5.4% loss. Zedge Inc., stock symbol ZDGE. My B2 sold on Wednesday with an 8% loss in 6 days. My B1 triggered a floor on Thursday at $11.87. I should have used the floor of 10 cents below the low of the second gap up day, which was on 2.9. That would have given me a floor of $11.55 to $11.45. I always put this tight 10 or 20 cent range where I want my stock to sell. The low on Thursday was $11.87, and that would not have triggered that lower floor. Zedge was up 9% on Friday, and I should have bought this one back. My B1 I held for 2.5 weeks and exited with a 32.2% gain, and my B2 I held for just over a week and I had an 8.2% loss. These 4 sells allowed me to add 3 stocks to my monthly sold scorecard winning columns. I was able to add 1 to my wins that have between a 0 and 10% gain, that's shown in yellow, bringing that count up to 2 for the month of February. And the purple column is for my trades with a 30 to 50% gain, and I was able to add 2 to that column for February as well. Down in the bottom section is a summary, and I'm really excited that for 2021, my average gain so far is $3,500. That's a 35% gain on my $10,000 initial purchase, which is my goal, and I'm so excited. Check out the Melissa Method on Twitter and call me out at Melissa Method. I'm feeling out my options for sharing my stock journey going forward. I'm going to try to limit my YouTubes to 10 minutes per episode and share some of my trades on Twitter. Let me know what you prefer. And if I remove something in my videos that you want to see again, just let me know and I'll see what I can do. My only purchase this week was my B2 in Digital Turbine, and that one sold. Every time I purchase a stock, I set a stop limit order as my floor, initially at 8% below my purchase price, and then I look for a better floor above the 8% limit. And each week I review my charts and move my floor if I can. Social Capital Something Holding Corporation, stock symbol IPOE. IPOE is my only loser stock this week. I was looking for a good spot to set my floor, and I looked back to the low of January 29th. 10 cents below that low is $21.70, so I thought that would be a good place for my floor. But my floor range is already from $21.69 to $21.59, so I'm going to go ahead and leave the floor. My floor is a stop limit order, so it will only sell if the stock is between those two prices, as opposed to a stop loss order that if it hits a point, it will sell at market. I've held IPOE for a week and a half and it's down 3.3%. Skyworks Solutions Inc., stock symbol SWKS. Skyworks is up 1.4% for the week. It closed at or above the 8-day simple moving average all week. I did raise my floor up to the green diagonal line, which is the 16-day simple moving average at 183.26. And I'd like to make a B3 in this stock. My B1 I've held for almost 2 weeks and I'm up 4.2%, and my B2 I've held for just over a week and I'm up 1.2%. NVIDIA Corp, stock symbol NVDA. NVIDIA has earnings after the market close on Wednesday. It was down 0.2% for the week, and it closed at the 8-day simple moving average twice this week. I raised my floor to the 16-day simple moving average at 568.23 for all three of my buys. NVIDIA hasn't been a fast mover, but it has been making an average of my 1% a week, except for the B3. Let's see what earnings bring. My B1 I've held for 6 weeks and I have an 8.8% gain. My B2 I've held for a week and a half and I have a 3% gain. And my B3 I've held for just over a week and I'm down 1%. I like to add to positions as stocks prove themselves, but I didn't have any of these this week, and never let a double-digit gain turn into a loss. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, stock symbol TSM. TSM is down 1% for the week. It had above average volume on Wednesday and Thursday, but the price held up well. It closed the week at the 8-day simple moving average. I raised my floor to the 16-day simple moving average at 131.85 for all three buys, and all three of my buys are in the money. My B1 I've held for 2.5 weeks and it's up 8%. My B2 I've held for 2 weeks and it's up 4.2%. And my B3, which was previously an add-on buy from another holding I had, that one I've had for 3.5 weeks and it's up 10%. Logitech International, stock symbol LOGI. Logitech was down 1.8% for the week. It's my longest current holding at 8 weeks, and it's making over 2% a week, which is awesome. My B1 and my B2 are in the money. Logitech is holding at the 8-day simple moving average. I want to make a B3 with my floor no lower than 113.15, which is 10 cents below the low from Wednesday. My B1 I've held for 7 weeks and it's up 16.3%, and my B2 I've held for 2.5 weeks and it's up 6.9%. Roku Inc., stock symbol ROKU. Roku is down 0.3% for the week. It had great earnings on Thursday and was up over 3% on Friday. I thought the reaction would have been better. Let's see what next week brings. It closed above the 8-day simple moving average on Friday, but Wednesday and Thursday it was hovering between the 16-day and the 8-day simple moving average, those pink and green diagonal lines. I did leave my floor where it was at last week, the 16-day simple moving average at 430.42. I have 3 buys in Roku. My B1 I've held for 3.5 weeks and it's up almost 17%. My B2 I've held also for 3.5 weeks and it's up 14.1%. And my B3 I've held for 2.5 weeks and it's up 8.3%. 360 Digitech Inc., stock symbol QFIN. QFIN is up 11.2% for the week. I raised my floor on Tuesday to $24.11. I'm raising it again now to $24.94, 1% below the low on Thursday $2.11. That would be the week before last. This would give me an exit at a 31% gain. I hope it doesn't trigger, as I'd really like to be able to capture a gain of over 50%, but it's too soon to raise the floor that high. Price swings are wide with those tall price action bars, and volume is also high. I also have an alert at $28.97, which is the open price on Tuesday. If QFIN falls below that point, I'll get a text telling me to pay attention to this stock. I've held QFIN for 2.8 weeks and I'm up 61.4%. My current holding bar chart shows one bar for each week or portion of a week I've held the stock. The only stock that made progress this week is QFIN in the orange. Most of my current holdings were flat from last week, including Logitech in the purple, Nvidia in the green, Roku in the red, Skyworks in the blue, and TSM in aqua. IPOE in the light green, all the way to the left, was down. My current dollar value gain shows my gain or loss on my initial $10,000 purchase. My only loser stock is IPOE. I have these sorted with the losers on the top, so I focus on those and let the ones on the bottom that are doing well take care of themselves. The weekly percentage change is also sorted with the lowest value on the top. The ones in red did not beat the S&P 500 for the week. Those are IPOE, Logitech, and TSM. My benchmark shows a little dip this week, but after 2 years and 45 weeks, my $100,000 has grown to $189,667 versus the S&P 500 for the same time frame has grown to $147,073. My change in value from week to week shows that from last week to this week, I had a gain of $664 in my existing holdings, a loss of $5,209 in the stocks that I sold from last week to this week. They went down in value that much. And then my new purchase lost $325. On the left-hand side, down at the bottom, circled in blue, you can see the S&P 500 went down 0.7% for the week versus the Melissa method on the right-hand side, circled in blue, went down 2.5% for the week. My experiment year started mid-April, and the S&P 500 since mid-April is up 40%, circled in the center in yellow, and on the right-hand side, the Melissa method is only up 31.1% for the same time frame. I'm most heavily weighted in cash. I have $64,000 in cash. I can make some add-on buys or new purchases. My next heaviest sector is chips. The numbers on each of the squares show the number of buys I have in each stock. Thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for my next episode, and better yet, subscribe to my channel, The Melissa Method. Don't forget to take a look at Twitter.